Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a life forged in such unimaginable adversity that it becomes this unstoppable force. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary journey of an individual who didn't just survive extreme challenges. He systematically used every single blow to forge what he calls an armored mind.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it, how this raw, pretty unflinching account of a life pushed to its absolute physical and mental limits, how it yields such profound, universal lessons.
Right.
So our mission in this deep dive really is to extract the key mindsets, the practical strategies from this remarkable story. Strategies that you can apply directly to your own goals, your own obstacles, no matter how daunting they might seem.
Okay, so to really grasp how this armored mind was forged, we have to go way back to the beginning, to a childhood that sounds more like, I don't know, a crucible than a nursery.
Exactly.
Picture this. It's 1981. He's in first grade, but he can barely stay awake in class. Why? Because he's already been working nights.
At 6 years old.
Yeah, 6. He's living with constant fear, hiding bruises. You know, school was just a temporary sanctuary from a much darker reality at home. His father, Tyghan, well, he was charismatic, sure, but also profoundly controlling. He owned Skateland, a popular roller skating rink.
Right. And from that really young age, 6, like you said, he and his brother worked there organizing skates, polishing the rink floor, breathing in aerosol fumes, all under his father's watchful and often, frankly, terrifying eye.
Yeah, terrifying is the word.
And look, this wasn't just a tough childhood, we need to be clear. It was a profoundly abusive and crucially financially controlling ecosystem.
Right, the control aspect was huge.
Absolutely. His mother, Jackie, I mean, she had this strong maternal instinct, tried to create a show of normalcy with nightly dinners, but she was completely trapped. No independent finances, no bank account, no credit cards, nothing.
Right.
And she was subjected to his infidelity, even witnessed him with women from his prostitution ring on the office sofa where her kids often slept.
Oh my God. That just shows the depth of her dependence, doesn't it?
It paints a stark picture.
Yeah.
The systemic barriers to her escape were immense.
And the abuse just got worse. He talks about this harrowing protocol for beatings. The kids would have to disrobe, lie across a bed in a dark room, enduring psychological torment, physical pain, never knowing when it would stop. Just awful.
Unimaginable.
Then there was this pivotal night. He was just 8 years old. He stepped in to protect his mother from his father's belt. He actually describes this as the moment where hatred overcame fear. He took the beating himself.
A huge moment for an 8-year-old.
And even more terrifying, there was an incident where his father aimed a pistol right at him, at his 8-year-old self. He said he felt utterly exhausted by then, like he didn't even care if he lived or died anymore.
Just crushing. It really makes you wonder, how do you possibly break free from that kind of system?
But how did they?
Well, his mother, Jackie, it was a courageous, secretly planned escape. Her friend Betty advised her. She cleverly played into her partner's ego, flattered him, to get a credit card co-signed. That was the key.
Smart. Risky, but smart.
Very. And the escape itself was harrowing. The car broke down near Erie, Pennsylvania. His mother nearly broke down on the phone with Betty, just desperate. But they eventually made it to Brazil, Indiana. And for him, that arrival was like being free from the devil himself.
Wow. Freedom.
Yeah. And those brutal early experiences, as horrific as they were, they unintentionally laid this unconscious foundation, a primal bedrock for the extreme resilience we see later on.
Okay, so they escaped to Brazil, Indiana. Public housing, just $7 a month. But the new life, it brought its own hardships, right? Sporadic child support, welfare struggles.
Definitely not easy street.
But even then, you see these little glimmers of resourcefulness, like saving loose change in mason jars. A habit he picked up from his grandfather who lived through the Depression.
Small acts, but significant. Shows a certain mindset already forming.
Academically, though, he was really struggling. I mean, understandably, given his past.
Of course. Trauma has long-lasting effects on learning.
But then, in second grade, Sister Catherine came into his life. She embodied this no-excuses mentality, really focused on repetition, different ways of learning, a total contrast to other teachers he'd had.
And that highlights something important, doesn't it? The power of tailored guidance. Someone seeing past the issues and focusing on the potential.
Yeah, exactly.
What's striking, though, is that even after escaping his father, the trauma didn't just, disappear, it followed him.
How so?
Well, when he was 14, his mother's new partner, Wilmoth, was murdered. It was suspected to be part of some shady deal, and he reacted with such rage, he punched a refrigerator, actually dented it, saw his mom on the news.
Oh, man. More
Yeah.
trauma piled on top.
Yeah, and
God.
despite escaping the initial abuse, his teenage years were still marked by struggle. Academically, he had a D average, missed like a quarter of his senior year. He felt like he was becoming a low-budget thug with no purpose.
So, drifting. Lost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But then came this really powerful moment. He calls it a solo intervention in front of his bathroom mirror, just him and his reflection.
The accountability mirror.
That's the one. He confronted himself, all the lies, the excuses, and hit himself with the raw truth. Nobody is coming to save your ass.
A brutal honesty.
Totally. And that moment birthed this ritual. The accountability mirror became his tool, stripping away the BS, facing the real him. And the insight for us, for you listening, is powerful, right? Sometimes the biggest transformation doesn't start with external rah-rah stuff. It starts with that unflinching, honest look in your own mirror.
Owning your story.
Exactly. Owning it, warts and all, so you can then rewrite it. And for him, this ignited an obsession for learning. Rigorous transcription, memorization, recall. His grades dramatically improved.
That's incredible. And it wasn't just about academics, was it? He also learned to handle negativity differently.
Yeah, that's another key piece. He faced outright racism as a teenager, but he reframed it. He started to understand that the people mocking him, they were uncomfortable in their own skin.
So their problem, not his.
Precisely. He stopped giving weight to the opinions of insecure people. Each insult, each slight, just became more fuel for the engine inside him, turning attacks into internal strength. It's a powerful shift.
Okay, so after all that internal work, you'd think maybe a smoother path. But his first military experience wasn't exactly stellar.
No, definitely not. His first stint was in the Air Force. He wanted to be a pararescue man.
Right, the elite guys.
Yeah. But he ended up in a demoralizing pest control job, and he gained a lot of weight, ballooned to nearly 300 pounds.
Wow, 300 pounds. So what happened to pararescue?
He quit. He cited having the sickle cell trait, but later admitted that was just an excuse. It was fear, plain and simple. He felt numb and afraid. There was this huge gap between his aspirations and his reality.
So what changed? What lit the fire again?
A TV show, believe it or not, about elite special operations, Navy SEALs. That sparked an obsession. He had to become a SEAL. He started calling recruiters like crazy all over the country, but mostly got laughed at, rejected because of his weight. They called him a delusional pretender.
Ouch. Must have been crushing.
You'd think so. But this is where that internal drive meets a crucial external factor, a recruiter named Stephen Shaljo. This guy believed in me from the jump, despite the weight.
Someone finally thought the potential.
Exactly. And that belief, combined with his own internal fire, it fueled this incredible physical transformation. He lost over 100 pounds in just a few months. It's insane.
Just a few months. How?
Relentless discipline, the same discipline he then applied to academics again.
Yeah.
He needed to pass the ASVAB, the military entrance exam. He studied like a maniac, spent 6 hours reviewing for every 1 hour of tutoring.
6 hours for every 1 hour. That's
Yeah.
intense.
That's the accountability mirror in action again. Relentless self-discipline, constantly pushing past what anyone, including himself, thought was possible, physically and mentally.
Okay, so he gets into SEAL training. Then comes Hell Week, the ultimate test. He talks about hearing the quitter's bell, right? The bell they ring when they give up. He said every clang sounded like progress.
Yeah, flipping the script on failure while facing just medieval torment, 130 hours straight. Instructors like Psycho Pete pushing them beyond any conceivable limit.
But he didn't just survive it. He led his boat crew 2, made sure they lost no men, won every single race, and earned that coveted brown T-shirt, the symbol of making it through. After what he called a lifetime of mostly failure, that must have felt huge.
Redemption. But it's almost beyond comprehension, isn't it? What kind of mind gets forged in that fire?
Right, what if that?
He calls it the calloused mind. It's about learning to endure not just one hell week, but multiple ones.
Multiple. He went through it again.
Oh yeah, he had to repeat it due to injuries. The second time he had double pneumonia and small fractures in both shins.
Double pneumonia and stress fractures. How do you even stand, let alone do Hell Week?
Get this. He duct taped his legs, just wrapped them in duct tape to hold them together, and kept running up to 60 miles a week like that, and faced things like drown-proofing, controlled drowning, hands and feet tied.
That's unbelievable.
The brutality was constant. There was a tragic incident. A recruit named John Scop died during the caterpillar swim, and the instructor's reaction was harsh, desensitized. It just reinforced the brutal reality.
So the callous mind is about using all that past pain as fuel.
Exactly. Using past suffering, past victories, everything as fuel to push through present pain. And that connects to his idea of taking souls.
Taking souls. What does that mean?
It means pushing so hard, being so relentless that you don't just beat your opponent, you break their will, you make them quit mentally. And often the biggest opponent is your own mind telling you to stop. It's about, as he puts it, bringing your very best when you feel your worst.
Wow. Okay. So even after becoming a SEAL, arguably reaching the pinnacle, he still needed an arena.
Yeah, that drive to push limits didn't just switch off, so he turned to ultramarathons.
Which led to this completely audacious decision, right? Entering a 100-mile
The
race
San Diego one-day race, yeah.
with basically zero specific training for it and only 3 days' notice.
Absolutely nuts on the surface.
But here's where it gets really interesting, I think. He wasn't just doing it for himself. He ran it for a purpose bigger than David Goggins, as he said, to raise money for the families of fallen SEALs from Operation Red Wings. Marcus Luttrell's brother was involved.
That's a key shift, isn't it? From self-preservation, improving himself, to serving a greater cause, that purpose becomes incredibly powerful fuel.
So how did he manage that race, physically and mentally, with no training?
Well, physically, it was agony. He talks about immense pain, dark emotional garbage surfacing. But this is where he developed another mental tool. The cookie jar.
The cookie jar, like saving treats for later.
Sort of, yeah, but mental treats. He mentally cataloged every past accomplishment, every hardship overcome, every time he'd pushed through pain before. Beating his father, Hell Week, everything. When the pain in the race became overwhelming, he'd mentally reach into that cookie jar and pull out a past victory, reminding himself, I've been through worse. I can handle this. It's a mental retrieval system for resilience.
That's brilliant, a way to weaponize your own history.
Absolutely. He finished, by the way, 101 miles in 18 hours and 56 minutes.
Incredible. He must have felt amazing.
Well, here's the kicker. The race director, Chris Kosman, was apparently unimpressed. Kosman basically said, yeah, but the point is to run for the full 24 hours.
Oh, come on. After 101 miles.
Right. But instead of being deflated, guess what? It just fueled him more. Added another log to the fire.
Of course it did. Never satisfied.
Never. Then came the Hurt 100 race, running through pitch-black jungle at night. He even started hallucinating, saw another runner, Akos Kunya, just walking in circles, apparently.
Hallucinating. That's getting into scary territory.
It is, and it leads to his concept of the governor in our minds. That voice that tells you to stop, that you're done, you can't possibly go on. He argues that governor tries to protect you, but it doesn't have absolute control. Which brings us to the 40% rule.
Ah, yes, the 40% rule. Explain that.
The idea is simple but profound. When your mind is screaming at you that you're totally finished, absolutely spent, you've actually only tapped into about 40% of what you're truly capable of.
Only 40%.
That's his contention. It's a mental limit, a governor trying to shut you down, not a true physical barrier yet. And the only way to push past that 40%, to consciously callous your mind, day after day, choosing discomfort, pushing into the pain, proving that voice wrong, repeatedly.
So it's about intentionally seeking out hardship to expand your capacity.
Precisely. You schedule the suffering, essentially.
Okay. But then life throws you curveballs you didn't schedule. At the peak of his physical prowess.
Yeah.
A major health diagnosis.
Yeah, a huge one. An atrial septal defect, or ASD, basically a hole in his heart.
A hole in his heart. For a SEAL, a diver, that sounds bad.
Extremely dangerous. It massively increases the risk of decompression sickness, potentially fatal for a diver. The Navy basically suggested he scale back, ease up, maybe retire.
So what does a guy like this, who built his whole identity on pushing limits, do then?
He chose defiance. Underwent 2 heart surgeries. He actually remembers going under anesthesia for the first one with this internal scream of, fuck no.
Nah.
Just total refusal to let this define him or stop him.
Wow. Unwavering commitment to his purpose.
Absolutely. And connecting this to the bigger picture of identity is so important. Even after the surgeries, accepting a non-deployable role, he refused to let these setbacks define who he was.
He didn't just fade away.
Far from it. He kept seeking extreme challenges. Went back to wildland firefighting at age 43, battling huge blazes, dipping fire lines on steep slopes, grueling work. And he notes he's actually running faster now, comfortably, than he did when he was younger, pre-surgeries. He talks about having a new, flexible, fully functioning body, still improving.
Still getting better. How?
It embodies his philosophy of starting at zero.
Starting at zero.
Yeah. No matter what you've accomplished, yesterday's wins don't matter today. Never be satisfied. Always seek new challenges. He says you have to embrace ignorance and become the dumb fuck in the classroom again to keep expanding your mind. It's about constant growth, never resting on your laurels.
That deep-seated rage he talked about from his childhood,
Yeah.
is it still there?
He says it's different now. It used to be an unconscious twitch, always simmering. Now he has to consciously access it, but yeah, it's still there. He says it's seared into my brain like scar tissue. Still fuel.
And he uses that question, what if?
Yes, to
Yeah.
challenge all doubt, his own, others, to remind us and himself that we don't really know what we're capable of until we put absolutely everything on the line.
It's like the ultimate challenge to limitations.
He calls it an exquisite fuck you to anyone who ever doubted him, or by extension, anyone who doubts you.
So wrapping this up, what are the core takeaways from this incredible journey?
Look, the deep dive we've done today, it really shows us something powerful. Our past, even the most painful parts, maybe especially the painful parts, can be transformed into the most potent fuel for our future. It's not about erasing it. It's about using it.
The tools are there.
They really are. He lays them out. The accountability mirror to face truth. The cookie jar to draw strength from past wins. The calloused mind to endure present pain. And the discipline to, well, schedule suffering, essentially. And always, always start at zero. Every day is a new opportunity for growth.
You know, the story of this armored mind, it isn't just about one person's insane achievements. It really feels like a reflection of our own untapped potential, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When we push past what we thought was possible, maybe our light can reflect off others, show them the contours of their own prison, as he might put it.
That's a powerful thought.
So, for everyone listening, think about the challenges you're facing right now, the ones you tell yourself are impossible, the ones where doubt whispers loudest. What if you stopped listening to that doubt? What if you embraced the discomfort, the pain even? What if you truly asked yourself, what if? What incredible achievement might be waiting for you on the other side?